The hunting companions and their new Inuit visitor lay around the front room of Ungurtok's house. Splayed on the floor among piles of furry blankets and personal supplies, they dozed contentedly, with only a few snores or periodic coughs to interrupt the quiet atmosphere. A dim oil lamp glowed in the corner, keeping a vague but pleasant hue inside the cramped room. Standing near the front door, Christian peered out the window that abutted the entrance. Above, light from the moon slipped through wavy clouds in the night's clear sky, illuminating the abandoned fields of the Norse homestead. Visibility was good in those chilly pastures, and Christian's gaze jumped from the husk of one dead animal to another as he visually inspected the remains of the farm's slaughtered animals. Tilting his head, something bothered his mind, and he struggled to understand what nagged at his thoughts from a subconscious level. Something was missing. As he continued his overwatch, Christian focused far across the field. His attention came to rest on the line of brush that intermingled with a few trees, forming a dark blur on the periphery of his distant sight. This was the opposite side of the meadow where they had first arrived, and the darkness beyond it ascended a low mountain that was shrouded in the shadows of a dark forest. There among the bushes, a dense mist began to whirl, forming the same weird and churning coils of fog that they had earlier witnessed before the attack at sea. As if living, the mist again appeared to have its own luminescent tinge, and the vague light within the roiling fog seemed to grow larger as Christian stared at it. In time, the fog started to drift onto the open field, as if it was setting out on a course toward the sanctuary where they all slept. As it crept forward, the flowing mass expanded, its simmering confines stretching toward the house. Growing alarmed, Christian hustled across the room, gently stepping over Rand as he came to his father's slumbering form. Shaking Eric awake, his spooked voice was loud in the calm area. "Father, something is coming toward us." Suddenly alert, Eric took only a moment to gather himself. Following Christian to the window, his gaze followed his son's pointed finger out into the night, where his eyes came to rest on the swirling mist. It was now halfway across the field, and its speed increased as it came toward them. From their perspective, nothing was visible behind it, and the result was that the wall of clouds was like a dark cover blotting out the rest of their perceivable world. Pulling the shutter closed, Eric gestured to the other shutter, and for Christian to close it as well. Turning to the party, Eric's voice boomed through the room, bringing everyone awake with his frantic tone. "Everybody up! Get your weapons! It's coming for us again!" The group responded quickly, scrambling to extricate themselves from their blankets and the light sleep they had been immersed in. In little time they were up and clear-eyed, staring with terrified worry for what came next. Holding up spears and swords, nobody questioned what was coming, because they saw in Eric's alarmed face that it could only be their endlessly wicked pursuer. Having closed and barred the other window, the entrance and all openings to the turf-enclosed house were closed. The nature of the Norse structures meant they were built with only one way to enter, and all the party members faced the entry point in agitated expectation. Eric motioned for Christian to back up more, leaving extra space to defend themselves when their adversary tried to break through the door. Doing as requested, Christian stepped back and took his place next to his father. Each held their blades at the ready, as they tried to control their breathing and bite back their fear. In the back of the armed group, Gallman clutched his substantial silver crucifix, clinging to it in hope it would offer safety from what was coming. Licking his quivering lips, he held out the cross, girding himself for the Lord's protection in whispered prayers. From beyond the door, a distant howling came. It was almost terrestrial, like a dog or wolf, but it also contained an unnatural lamentation, like something that was being forced into existence against its will. Stealing glances at one another, the group's terror-stricken eyes awaited their hideous foe. From the cracks around the door and windows, the invasive mist began to leak into the room,